5.46 million viewers tuned in during the Fedor versus Rogers fight, making it the 9th most watched MMA fight of all time. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. With the cock block going on Spike TV via Dana White. And anyone who tuned into that over Fedor versus Rogers, just go stand in the corner. It's not acceptable. And the nut huggerage is just out the roof at that point. You're going to turn down a fight between Fedor Emelianenko and Brett Rogers. You better be related to Dana White if you did something like that. Well, you never know. Fedor might fight the Ultimate Warrior. Maybe then you'll tune in. News. Dana White talking shit about Fedor. News. Dana White talks shit about Kimbo until Kimbo joined the UFC. Dana White talks shit about all IFL fighters until all of them joined the UFC. And now he uses IFL footage and stats to promote those fighters and hype those fights. Got a little trend going. Anyway, Mayhem Miller versus Jake Shields. You got Mayhem Miller who wants to fight, who wants to put on a show, and you got Jake Shields who wants to put on a hug contest and play Twister. They really need to change the Saved by the Bell rule. Until a fighter finishes that submission, or the other fighter gets out of the submission. Musashi versus Sokoudjou. I knew it. Sokoudjou was going to give him trouble, but Musashi was very patient, very rare at the age of 24 for a mixed martial arts fighter. That's why he's 27-2. He didn't get over anxious, you know what I mean, and get pissed off in the fight and make a bad decision. He took it to the second round and finished it and beat Sokoudjou at his own game. That's pretty impressive. Musashi didn't really care. Stand up on the ground. He was going to finish it wherever it was at, and that's why he's the number 1 205er in the world. That's a fact right now. A lot of people keep saying, man, Fedor got exposed in the Brett Rogers fight. I don't know if they've seen Fedor fights, but that's how he fights, man. If he gets in a compromising situation, he's in a compromising situation, and he gets out of it. And I don't know how many times Gus Johnson got to call Fedor Emelianenko's punches wild. He obviously has never seen one of his fights. If anything, he showed people that he wasn't afraid to stand up with Brett Rogers. He losing 7 inches on the reach and 40 pounds on the weight, and he came out swinging. People say, oh, he got hit with a jab and cut his nose, but he didn't even flinch. He threw a left hook right after that, and if he would have stepped into it, like I say in my blog, he would have knocked out Brett Rogers in the first 20 seconds. And if you look at the fight, Brett Rogers winning all his fights by TKO or knockout. Fedor Emelianenko was taking the center of the cage. He was owning the fight and dictating the fight, and he was in trouble for about like 10 seconds throughout the whole fight. When Rogers got on top of him on the ground, Fedor ate a few punches. He's number 1 in the world, and I don't know why everybody got to act like his ex-girlfriend and find a reason to bitch, but hey man, just let it be. You know what I mean? I know you guys can't wait for him to lose and just jump out there and like say everything you want to say, but for now he's undefeated. He's 31-1, and you can't get that record by accident. You can't get that record by not being technical. You can't get that record by not being the best mixed martial artist in the game. Now the post-fight tantrum was kind of really annoying by Brett Rogers. He basically told anyone that he choked, but if he were to fight Fedor Emelianenko again, he wouldn't choke. The equivalent of Craig Elo getting up off the court after Michael Jordan hit a jump shot in his face to win that one playoff game back in 1988, 1989 and eliminate the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's the equivalent of Craig Elo getting up off the court and like talking to Bob Costas and saying like, yeah, he made it, but if he do it again next year, I want to see if he gonna make it then. I knew I should have put my hand up, but I just wait till next time. Gus Johnson is the worst mixed martial arts commentator in the world. Anyone who tuned in on Saturday should know that by now. How the hell are you going to ask Fedor Emelianenko if he wants a rematch when you got Werdum right there and you got Alistair Overeem overseas? Man, buy some like fucking Pride DVDs and shit, man. Just like go read a book or some shit. You gotta catch up, Gus. Gus, you gotta catch up. It's not the same as college basketball. Well, anyway, I think Fedor's next fight going to be against Fabricio Werdum, which will be a good fight, be a totally different fight, probably the same consequences. And in case you didn't know, I started my own MMA blog, and I'm going to put up the address right now. And that's where it's at. And it's not all fancy yet, but I'll figure that shit out. and you'll have Todd MMA blogs on a very consistent basis, because I always have time to sit down and type. I don't always have time to talk to my camera. So check it out, because I like, when I make a video I forget a lot of things, but when I'm sitting down typing shit, I could, like, you know, go get something to eat, come back, okay, I forgot about that. On video I can't really do that. I just gotta record and do, you know, the whole process. And I'm sick and tired of these websites that just can't figure shit out.